Yo, what's going on, man? Today is April the 14th, 2024. It's your boy Chris, and this is the ChrisBeCappinn NBA Show, where we're live on Twitter. We're also live on YouTube as well. It's a lot going on, man. A lot for one guy to try to figure it all out for today's slate, but we're gonna do the best we can. We are going to go through most of these games, some meaningless games, and some very meaningful games today as far as seeding goes in the Eastern Conference, as far as seeding goes in the Western Conference as well. We got some teams trying to stay out of the play-in, some teams trying to, climb up the rankings and get home court advantage. So we go jump into it, man. A lot of games on the board for today. Today's show will be all I got is an hour, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I got to get off here. So whatever we do, we'll get through it as much as we possibly can and give out some looks. Shout out to everybody in the comments. Slick Pick Chef, appreciate you for tapping in. Jamie. Go to Angels, Brian, John, what's going on? G Martinez, Frankie, my guy Justin, DJ Props, who they? What up, Brian Burns, my RBA guy. What up? Let's get to it for today, man. Let's get to it for today. So first game up, and I did kind of go through these. Well, before we get to the first game up, Friday I ended up giving out Cavs plus the 3. I'm sorry, that's not supposed to say Cavs. It's supposed to say Pacers plus the 3. My apologies on the graphic because Cavs plus 3 definitely won, and that wasn't even lying. I played the Pacers plus the 3. That was a loser. Cavs played the greatest basketball they played all season. And you do see Indiana defense really struggle to get stops in that game. Toronto, Miami was a winner, though, over. And then we did hop on the Knicks in the third quarter when they were losing. I'm sorry, we hopped on them at halftime when they were losing to the Brooklyn Nets. So that 1.5 was an easy winner as well. So 2 on one day. On the season up to today, we are up 40 units, which is where we kind of wanted to finish the regular season. Now, if we could just make 20 units, I want to make 20 units during the postseason so we can go up 60 units on the full season. But the updated records are there, always transparent. So let's jump into it for today. So I've separated, went through and just kind of, did a deep dive on, who's playing for something. So if you see the team, the games are all posted here for meaningful games. And if there's one team that's playing for a meaningful game, you guys see that they are in red. If you see 2 teams in the same game playing for a meaningful game, those are the ones that I really wanted to kind of dive into. And I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't take a full deep dive into all of these games, but I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the games before, because it's going to be a lot. I mean, it's like 50 people on the injury report for today, and some of them are meaningful players in some of these meaningful games. So if the team is in red, they are playing for something in today's game. So we're just gonna jump right into it, man. Like I said, it's a lot going on. We're gonna dive into it. Let's get to it. So first game up, first meaningful game that we have, and we'll go through some of the meaningless games if we have time as well. But first meaningful game we have and here are the meaningless games. So the games that we may not get to. Wizards and Celtics, neither team has anything to play for. Rockets and Clippers, neither team has anything to play for. Pistons and Spurs, of course. Neither team has anything to play for either. So first meaningful game, we got the Brooklyn Nets. They will be taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. So I think I'm going to go injury report, and then I'll do meaning of the game just to kind of keep everybody in line. So keep everything kind of orderly. So first game up, like I said, Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia. You got the 76ers laying 15.5 points as home favorites in this game. And, of course, this team has been red hot. They beat the Orlando Magic down the other day, and I want to say they won like 9 of their last 10 games. They've covered like 9 of their last 10 spreads, maybe even 10 spreads in a row. So this is the hottest team in the NBA right now. You got Brooklyn. They've listed Cam Johnson out. He was the only person I saw on the injury report. And then for Philly, Embiid is listed as questionable. So do we think that Philly wants the extra day of rest? I think so. If you go in, if they want it, I feel like you kind of want Embiid to play in this game. So right now, the Philadelphia 76ers are currently in the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. And, tied with Indiana, tied with Orlando. Both of those teams, I think, do own the tiebreaker over Philly. So Philly does need this win. Now, Brooklyn probably, I'm not even sure if they take the game seriously here. But I do kind of feel like, excuse me, the Sixers could win this game without Embiid. So if Embiid plays, of course, dictates a lot on the spread, in my opinion. So if I go through, I got a bunch of tabs open right now. Let me just go through and look at it real quick. So Nets first round pick will be conveyed to the Rockets. They have nothing to play for. The Sixers, like I said, trying to avoid the play, and they can move up to as high as the 5th or the 6th seed. And that's exactly where they want to be. They want the Indiana Pacers to lose today. I don't think Indiana's going to lose. and they also want the Orlando Magic to lose. They kind of need those teams to lose so that they can get out of the play-in. And remember, I said this like last couple shows, is that if you're Philly, you do want Embiid to play the fewest amount of minutes as possible. So you don't want him in a play-in situation, even though he did come out and say, he could play 40 minutes if he needed to. So I'm not betting against Philly. I think the Nets getting 15.5 points here is, it's kind of telling. Maybe it's too many points. The 76ers don't necessarily need to win the game by that much of a margin, but I do think that they'll come out here and take this game super serious and just get the Nets out the way, whether Embiid plays or not. So Burns, I'm not Burns. I see Brian put it in the chat. He says, what about the Sixers team total over? There's no way I could talk you guys off of that. The Nets defense, it could be solid at certain points in times. I don't think that they have a chance to slow down this Philadelphia 76ers offense right now, though. I also think looking at the Nets team total to go under is also in play. So right now, those lines are, you got a Philly team total that is sitting at 114.5. I mean, they scored 130 points against an Orlando team the other day. That's a much better defense than this Brooklyn Nets team. And then you got the Brooklyn Nets, their team total sitting at 99.5. And I could easily see the Brooklyn Nets staying under their team total today in this game, under 100 points. The Nets just don't play with a lot of pace. So let's just look at the Nets real quick. They did get to 107 against the Knicks. They got the 106 against the Raptors, 97 against the Kings. So, yeah, I mean, on the road, last game of the season, it's probably 1-2-3 Cancun for the Brooklyn Nets here. So, and they only 10-17 against the spread since the All-Star break as well. And if you look at them on the road as a dog, they are 1-10 straight up, 3-8 against the spread, losing by an average of 12 points per game. So, yeah, it's I think team total under is definitely in play. It is a super low total. But they, like I said, they haven't been able to guard anybody either. So on a day like today, when you're probably just going to be a little more lax, can't wait to get the last game of the season over with, it's probably a look towards Philly team total to go over a little bit more than it is towards Brooklyn team total to go under. So I do like this look. I think Brian, you mentioned it, and I'm gonna write this one down. Not a game that I bet. Philly team total over. Like I said, the number right now is 114.5. And a couple things that I just kind of looked at on a glance was, like I said, Nets as road dogs after the All-Star break, they're giving up 114 points. So you're looking for Philly to score one extra point in this game, versus the Nets, what the Nets are allowing. And I do think that that's possible in this game. So Philly team total over, I think, would be the best look here. I'm going to try to go through the chat, but I'm not going to get through all the comments. Like I said, I do got to jump off here at 10. Let's see what you guys are seeing in this one. Classes in session, Dub says. What up tomorrow? Miss Lettuce, Frankie. Really gotta pick our spots today. That's a fact. This is the theme of the show right here. Gotta pick our spots for sure. What up, EQ? Andre. EQ says Sixers to take care of business. What's up, Tasha? Brian says Sixers first half looks good. Yeah, they should come out here and smash for sure. My guy Dream says, what's the vibes? And B, first quarter points. Boy, for look. Yeah, so this was something my guy Matt Modas mentioned on Cal's show on Friday as well. First quarter points, I think it was 7.5. And I think it's been cashing like really, really consistently. So, and B's been playing the whole first quarter. I could not talk you guys off of, the Sixers coming out here wanting to smash the net so Embiid can actually rest in the second half of this game as well. So Embiid over his first quarter points, 7.5, 8.5, whatever the number is. I want to say he had 12, 10, 12, something like that in the first quarter of the last game. I mean, they literally just give him the ball every single time. So it's going to be a shot attempt or an assist. So I do like this look by Dream Embiid over his first quarter points. I'm going to write that one down as well. Shout out to Dream for pulling up. I totally forgot about that. Shout out to Dream. Lightbearer, appreciate you for tapping in. Ray, Derek. Derek says, I just worry about that team total. What does that fourth quarter look like if Philly is in complete control? What if they scored 100 points through three quarters, though, Derek, and they needed 14, 15 points in the fourth quarter? That wouldn't surprise me either. So it doesn't scare me too much. I think that Philly should be able to score at will against this Nets team today. What up, Mark? Nando says, good morning. Knowing player incentives today, I didn't see any success is what you make it. I didn't take a deep dive into player incentives, just more so team incentive. Lingowix says, what about Cam Thomas props? I can see Cam Thomas trying to go absolutely crazy in this last game of the season. How motivated are the Sixers going to be to shut Cam Thomas down, or do they just want to win the game? Is what I guess would be my rebuttal. What up, Darwin? Jabari? How about a cup of Joe says the 8.5 hook seems sad, sometimes sadly. And what up, DJ? Appreciate you for tapping in. Derek says fair point, Nets are trash. Yeah. And it's the last game of the season, man. Do they have incentive to hold the Nets, to hold the 76ers team under 115 points? I would say no. All right, so let's keep it pushing. And remember, Philly offense has been top 5 rated last 2 weeks since Embiid came back as well. So yeah, over potentially full game. I don't know if the Nets want to come along for the ride and score points in this game or not, but I do like that Philly team total over. Shout out to Brian in the chat for dropping that one. So next game up, we got the Raptors and the Miami Heat. So injury report first. I just saw quickly as being listed out. Of course, everybody else, Scotty Barnes and all those guys still remain out. But as far as their updated injury report, I just saw quickly listed as out for Toronto. He won't play in this game. On the Miami side, Duncan Robinson is listed as questionable. He hasn't played in their last few games. And Terry Rozier is already listed as out. You still got Miami laying 15 points as home favors in this game. So this was a game on Friday that we cashed the over on. Remember, I told you guys we're quickly in. Toronto was going to push the pace. I thought Miami would be able to score as well. And now I don't feel as confident in this one. So the total did go up. We got it at 217.5. But to me, that's a large part of that was just Toronto. I like Quickly being in there because he pushes the pace so much, gives Toronto, some pace, some scoring. He facilitates well. So with this game, I don't like the total as much. I still lean kind of towards the over. I told you guys I thought Miami wasn't going to be locked in defensively in that game. Toronto got over their team total, which was like 103.5, 101.5. I'm sorry. And then you see Miami, really just able to get whatever it is that they want. I still kind of feel that way. Like Miami should be able to come out here and score. Remember, Miami is a bottom 10 offensive team throughout the regular season. And for whatever reason, they can't score at home either. But against this Raptors defense that has Kelly Olynyk at center, I'll just go back to beating that point again. Like we talked about on Friday, I do think that they should be able to get whatever it is that they want in this game. Miami does have incentive. So when we look at incentive for Miami, they are playing for, let me just find it. Miami is playing for, thought I had it up. Miami. Okay, so Raptors already locked into the 6th worst position, nothing to play for. Heat trying to avoid the play-in. They could move up to 5 or 6. So right now, Miami is in behind the 76ers. So a game behind the 76ers, the likelihood of them moving out of the play-in is very, very slim. Like they would need Philly to lose, they would need Indiana to lose, and Orlando to lose. And I don't think any of those teams are going to lose. So Miami, probably will come out, want to win this game. Do they want to win by margin? Not something that I'm putting my money on. We've talked about this throughout the season. Like this team can kind of fall asleep behind the wheel when they're big favorites. You typically want to take the Miami Heat as a dog or when it's a pretty close spread. So I'm not taking the points with Toronto either, though. I'll tell you that, not in the last game of the season. So I guess if I had to play this game, I would be looking towards Miami Heat team total to go over. Right now, that number is 117.5. It's a high number for Miami. It's the last game of the season, though. Toronto just going to be out there kind of going through the motions, in my opinion. And I do think, I'm not playing the game. I know I'm going to stay off of it, but Toronto team total is at 102.5. And that's a tad bit higher than it was last game with Emmanuel Quickly. So now you get no Quickly and the team total go up. I don't like that as much if I'm looking to play on Toronto in this spot. Or if I'm looking to take Toronto team total over. Remember, Toronto can really struggle to score the ball. They only scored 103 points in the last game. That was with Quickly in. So maybe even a look towards their team total to go under. But on the last game of the season, I'm not looking to play too many unders. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure how motivated Miami's going to be. So maybe just a look towards Miami team total to go over. 117 is the high number. Like I said, they just scored 125 against this team 2 nights ago, and the game was in Miami. So that's the way I would look in this one. Like I said, a little bit of incentive for Miami, even though I don't think that they're gonna get out of that play-in spot. Let's see what you guys are saying here. I'm gonna try to keep the comments that I shared to the game. So if you guys have looks in other games, just kind of wait till I get to those. It'd be helpful. Tanari says over in that last game we talked about. What up, AOD? BK says, good morning. Feel like most of the teams are not going to cover the spreads today. Getting a W is the goal. That's a fact. That is a fact. Yeah, that's why the numbers are so big, right? It'd be easy for me just to tell y'all later 15 points. I'm not doing it, so I'm not telling y'all to do it. Nav says, I doubt they covered. Raptors want to close the season strong. I'm not sure how if I agree with this Raptors wanting to close the season strong part. I think if you want to close the season strong, you don't rest quickly. What are you resting quickly for? He just had yesterday off, and he'll get a couple months of rest because this is the last game of the season for them. So I don't necessarily agree with the Raptors wanting to close the season off strong. You just lost by 22 points to the same team, and now you're resting your best player. I don't agree with them wanting to close the season strong, but that's just my opinion. Brian says Miami first half, possibly first quarter as well. What else should I see? John says Miami just needs Orlando to lose against the Bucks because if so, they become a division winner in the South, and that's the number one tiebreaker with two more teams tied. So Miami needs Orlando to lose against the Bucks. And I got it. I actually got that pulled up too, real quick. Let me see if I can. So there is I got a lot of different things kind of in my bookmarks I want to share with you guys as well. So, geez, it's a lot, bro. It's a whole lot going on. Real quick, let me see if I can find. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right. So, in order for KC, Dallas, Orlando, Dallas, Milwaukee, Orlando. All right. So, in order for Miami, this is the fourth seed. All right. So, in order for Miami to get the fifth seed, they would need the Bucks to win, the Atlanta Hawks to win, the Brooklyn Nets to win, and they would need to win. Brooklyn not winning though. So yeah, I don't think Miami not finishing with the fifth seed. In order for Miami to win the sixth seed, there's two scenarios that can happen. They would need to win. They would need Philly to win. They would need Atlanta to win, which I don't think Atlanta is beating Indiana, and they would need the Bucks to win. And I don't think the Bucks beating Orlando today either. The other scenario is that Miami would need Milwaukee to win, Indiana to win, and Brooklyn to win. And I don't think Brooklyn beating Philly either. So I don't think Miami's going to finish with the fifth seed or the sixth seed. In order for them to get the seventh seed, it's three different scenarios. I don't want to go through all of them. It's a lot. It's a whole lot, but I do have all of them listed out. So if y'all got questions, just let me know. Just let me know. This is it's a lot going on for sure. I don't think Miami's moving up. Let's just put it like that. What up, Ryan? Miami moves out of the play-in with a win, and just Orlando lost to the Bucks because they won the Southwest Division in the East, which is the number one tiebreaker in the three-way ties, John says. Okay. So Miami has a lot of incentive, is what you're saying here. And I do think that, I don't think they're going to lose the game anyway. So it's just whether or not they think they're going to cover the 15-point spread. Nando says he likes Tyler Hero points, but haven't bet it yet. And what else? Miami to the moon, AOD says. Hold up. They sitting EQ? Miami Rose. Yeah, they sitting EQ was listed out yesterday. Nando says Bucks ain't winning. Magic won this one. I don't think the Bucks winning either. We're gonna get to that game in a second. Let's keep it pushing to another game. Magic showing up against the Bucks, Jay Fuller says. So Hornets and the Cavs, I'll be on this one shortly. Charlotte, the only reason I had it written down is because Cleveland, I'm guessing they think they can win the game without the guys. Cavs could move up to 2 or 3. May want to avoid the possible matchup with the 76ers, depending on where they finish, which you're not going to know that until the end of the day. So Trey Lyles now listed as questionable, it looks like. All right, so let's jump into this one. Anything to play for. They're holding off the Blazers and the Spurs to improve odds for the number 1 through number 6 overall pick. They're not going to win this game. I don't even think they're going to try to win this game. And you get a Cavs team. We already just kind of talked about them. So Charlotte, pretty much their whole offensive lot, their lineup, their whole starting lineup is listed as questionable. You got Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Grant Williams, and Nick Richards all listed as questionable. So outside of Micic, they don't really have a lot of guys in. For Cleveland, they've already listed out Donovan Mitchell, Karis LeVert, and Darius Garland is also listed as doubtful. So this is another game where, to me, it feels like we have an extremely low total. I don't think that we talked about that. We've talked about this throughout the season, so I won't give you guys the numbers. But in the last 3 or 4 weeks, especially with the Cavs playing without Donovan Mitchell, their defense takes a big, tremendous hit. So I don't know if I want to include the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm sorry, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Charlotte Hornets in this one, but I do like the over. Just not sure if I want the Cavs team total over or the Charlotte Hornets to be included in that and take the full game over. But with these games at the end of the season, I don't see a lot of defense being played here. The Cavs clearly don't care about the game because I feel like if they did, Donovan Mitchell would be ruled in. But the fact that they're prioritizing Donovan Mitchell's health and Darius Garland's health, because he is listed as doubtful, and I'm sure he probably won't play, tells me that Cleveland doesn't care too much about this game. What does Cleveland want to do? Shoot a ton of above the break threes. I think that they'll be able to do that here against the Charlotte defense that's been absolutely trash. And Charlotte also just going to be out there shooting a bunch of jump shots. But you really, really want Bridges and Brandon Miller in my opinion, if you're betting on Charlotte's offense to be able to score the basketball. So those are my thoughts on this game. Like I said, not a game that I'm probably going to get involved in at all, but just wanted to kind of share my thoughts on this one. Probably a Cleveland team total over if I had to play anything. Let's see what you guys are saying. Dominique says Magic winning. Bucks trying to slide down for a better matchup. Nando says, Chris, give me and us a play pick in the game. I have nothing on this one. Yeah, just kind of talking about it. It'd be probably Cleveland team total. It's 111.5. I do think that Cleveland scores 112 points in this game. Don't see Cleveland locked in defensively. Last game of the season, probably just playing not to get hurt. And Cleveland, what would Cleveland, like I said, Cleveland, I don't know what Cleveland want to do. Clearly, they're not taking the game super serious because I think that they will have one of their guards in, but I still think they should be able to score against Charlotte. Let's see. BK says, are there any stats or totals for last regular season games? I'm gonna get into this towards the end of the show, BK. Let me know what you want me to look at, and I can look at it through SDQL a little later. But let me know. I can look into it. I got some stuff I want to share too. I think the Magic will be my best bet tomorrow. I think you mean today, right? Or yeah, I think you got to mean today. Charlotte doesn't deserve my money for the last game. It will be Cleveland team total or nothing. I agree. Let's keep going. Next game up, Chicago Bulls and the New York Knickerbockers. Game we played at Madison Square Garden. We got the Knicks laying 14 points. So starting with the injury report, Knicks, I didn't see anybody on the injury report. Knicks going to treat this game like they treat every other game. Like they want to win and like it's important. So for the Knicks, like I said, nobody on the injury report. For the Bulls, Caruso taken off the injury report, and you do have Ayo DeSumo listed as questionable in this game. So this is another game where, in my opinion, you see extremely low total. And let's get into the logistics of this one. So the Bulls, they locked into the 9th seed, nothing to play for here, as we saw in that game on Friday versus the Wizards in DC, where they kind of rested all their starters. The Knicks, they could move up to the number 2 seed or fall to the number 4 seed, just kind of depending on where they want to go. I do think they're gonna win this game. I don't think that they are ducking any smoke. I said that the other day. Like, to me, I don't think the Knicks ducking any smoke. I think the Knicks want all the smoke with everybody in the Eastern Conference, and they kind of pride themselves on stepping up the competition, especially the way they went into Philly and won earlier. They've been one of the teams that haven't really struggled against the Philadelphia 76ers throughout this season. And they, of course, beat the Celtics a couple times as well. I know they just beat the Celtics, but I think they beat the Celtics earlier this season also. So I don't think the Knicks, and they match up, in my opinion, they match up well with the Bucks too, especially when you could throw OG Anunoby on Giannis. So I don't think they're ducking any smoke. This would be a game that I would look towards the over in as well. We just saw the Bulls give up a ton of points. I'm not sure if people are going to be added to the injury report for Chicago or not, or if they're going to play their starters, the last game of the season. But this game is another one that screams over to me. You got a Chicago Bulls team total that's at 100.5. These two teams, of course, just played. We saw that game fly over the total. And the Knicks team total sitting at 115.5. We know that the Bulls struggle against three-point shooters. The Knicks, all they want to do is shoot threes. So It'd be a game where I would look towards the over or nothing at all. And maybe even a Knicks team total. 115.5 seems like a super low total. Even against the Brooklyn Nets in their last game, they were able to go. They were able to score in the second half. Let's see, real quick. I want to check it real quick. Even in that game, they were able to get 111 points after scoring like 7 points in the first quarter, 7 or 8 points, maybe 10 points in the first quarter against the Brooklyn Nets the other day. So look towards Chicago team total to go over in this spot or nothing at all. As far as seeding, that like we talked about this already, but the Knicks are in the playoffs. They're already locked in. I don't know what a loss. Let me just double check it real quick. What would a loss do for the Knicks here? So let's see. All right. So if New York wins, in order for New York to finish second, they would need Orlando to beat the Bucks. They would need to beat Chicago, and they would need Cleveland to win. That seems likely to me. Orlando wins, New York wins, Cleveland wins. Cleveland beats Charlotte, New York beats Chicago, Orlando beats Milwaukee, and the Knicks will finish in the second spot. They also finish in the second spot, whoever wins the Cleveland game. So if Charlotte somehow beat Cleveland, the Knicks would also finish finish second in the Eastern Conference. So yeah, I do think the Knicks win, man. I do think that that's probably how it's going to play out, in my opinion. If the Knicks were to lose, then the Knicks could finish in third with Orlando winning, Chicago winning, and Charlotte winning. That would put the Knicks in third. And the Knicks would finish in, it's a lot of different scenarios that would get them third. And then the Knicks, they're going to finish as high as fourth. But in order for them to finish fourth, they would need Orlando to beat the Bucks, Chicago to beat the Knicks, and Cleveland to beat Charlotte. So they will have to lose, Orlando will have to win, and Cleveland will have to win. The only scenario that will put them in the fourth seed. So the Knicks are going to finish either second or third in the Eastern Conference. Shout out to them. Let's see what you guys are seeing in this one. What up, Sean? Appreciate you for tapping in. Glenn says I'm taking the over. I like the over. Ryan says, what about the Bulls team total under? I'm not sure how locked in the Knicks defense is going to be in this spot. Remember, 101 points is a super low number. But however, you do got to keep in mind that you want to monitor Chicago's injury report. I think maybe some of these guys end up getting added late, is my opinion. DMP says Tibbs don't care if this one game or game 82, game 1 or 82. He gonna play them boys like it's game 7 of the finals, and I would agree there. Marcus says, no, they don't. No, they don't. They don't want the smoke. I think he says Boston will sweep the floor. So some pushback there. Even if kind of like I think about this, Marcus, kind of like the Memphis Grizzlies. Like the Grizzlies. Remember the Grizzlies 2 years ago? They didn't care who they played in the first round. They thought that they could beat everyone, and that's how I kind of feel about this New York Knicks team. Is whatever. They think they can do whatever they need to do in order to advance. Ray says, grab the Knicks team total over 114.5. That's the way I would look as well. Ryan says this game will go over the total. Knicks playing for something in the Bulls bench likes to hoop. Jerry says Bulls don't need this game. I already said that. Bulls bench good, Ryan says. It's serviceable, which is why I would look towards the Knicks team total to go over versus the whole thing. Yeah, that's how I feel too. Head hurts feel like gymnastics. I agree. DMP says be mindful that these games are on at the same time. Teams are going to be watching each other, so some teams might let off the gas when they clinch a spot, and that's a fact. These teams definitely know what's going on with each other. You kind of heard Steph come out and say that I think maybe last week. Definitely scoreboard watching for sure. So let's get into a very meaningful game for both teams. So you got the Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando Magic. Game will be played in Orlando. For Milwaukee, of course, Giannis is still going to be ruled out. And I saw Dame was the only person who popped up on the injury report. He is listed as probable, so he's probably going to be in for this game. Orlando does have Wendell Carter Jr. listed as questionable. He, I forgot exactly what happened, but I don't know if he got hit I think it was back spasms. He got hit early in that game against Philly on Friday, and I want to say he returned, but I could be wrong. I was watching the game when it happened, but then I kind of stopped looking at the game and went to go look at another game. So a lot of different scenarios here. Who wants to finish where I think is very important in this one. So I'll give you guys some scenarios. The Bucks could finish the likelihood that the Bucks finish in the 2 seed are a little bit higher as long as they win. And there is one scenario where Orlando could win, could beat the Bucks, and the Bucks could still finish in the number 2 seed. So Orlando, they also have let me just. So Orlando can finish high as the 5th seed. Orlando can't touch they can't get the 4th seed. I'm looking at it right now. Orlando, even if they won, they could move the Milwaukee Bucks to the 3rd seed or the 4th seed. But the likelihood that Orlando finishes with the 2nd seed, that the Milwaukee Bucks finish with the 2nd seed is pretty high, just based on all the scenarios that I'm looking at. So, excuse me. Orlando, they can finish as high as the 5th seed. They can't grab the 4th seed, but they can finish as high as the 5th seed. Just want to double check. Yeah, they can finish as high as the 5th seed. So in order for Orlando to finish in the 5th seed, they would need to win. They would need Indy to win, and they would need Philly to win. If that all happens, Orlando owns the tiebreaker or whatever kind of crazy scenario. If Orlando wins, Indy wins, Philly wins, and I'm sorry, the first one, Orlando, Indy, Philly, and Miami win. Orlando finishes in the 5th seed. If Orlando, Philly, Indy, or Toronto win, so no matter who wins the Miami-Toronto game, Orlando will finish in the 5th seed. Orlando, Indy, Brooklyn, Miami, Orlando still finishes in the 5th seed. Orlando, Indy, Brooklyn, Toronto, Orlando still finishes in the 5th seed. So the likelihood that Orlando gets the 5th seed is pretty high. There is, however, a couple scenarios where Orlando could finish in the 6th seed, the 7th seed, or the 8th seed. And I don't think that Orlando wants to be in the 8th seed here. So this is a very, very, and it goes back to this. I think Orlando takes this game serious. We're looking at a team that just went into this last week of basketball as the number 3 seed. They were third behind Boston and Milwaukee before the week started. They lost all 3 games. Remember, they went to Houston. They lost that game, didn't show up. The next night, they had to go to Milwaukee, lost that game. And then, of course, you just caught Philly, and you lost that game as well. And so this is a quick revenge spot as well. I do think Orlando is the right side in this game. I do think that they take this game super serious. I do want Wendell Carter Jr. ruled in. If Milwaukee loses, and this is the other part of the handicap, if Milwaukee somehow loses, they could still finish in the 2nd seed. They would just need which is not going to happen. They would need Chicago to beat New York, and they would need Charlotte to beat Cleveland. I don't think that's going to happen. But even if Orlando did win, there are 2 scenarios where where Milwaukee could still finish in the 3rd seed. And, if you finish regardless, if you finish in 2nd seed, 3rd seed, or 4th seed, you still got home court advantage throughout the first round of the playoffs. So in order for Milwaukee to finish in the 3rd seed, they would need Orlando would win, the Knicks would win, and Charlotte would beat Cleveland. I don't think that's going to happen. But Orlando could win, Chicago could win. I don't think that's going to happen. And then Cleveland could beat Charlotte, and Orlando would finish Milwaukee would finish in the 3rd seed as well. So I know, just go back and kind of, listen to what I'm saying, because the seeds are exactly what I'm saying. They're going to finish. I'm giving you guys all the scenarios is what I'm trying to say. I just think Orlando wins the game, though. I do think Orlando wins this game. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. I think it's a game that they're going to, this could be one of the worst falls. If Orlando somehow finished in the 8th seed, because they lost this game, this could be one of the biggest fall-offs from 3rd to 8th that we've seen in quite a while. And you find yourself in a play-in here. We also got to remember, one thing I thought about when I was looking into this game, while the Bucks haven't been necessarily the Bucks have been good at home, they haven't been the greatest team on the road. So you look at them, the Bucks specifically at home, this team has been the 2nd best team at home in the Eastern Conference, 31-11. I think 31-11 straight up. They don't cover spreads, 16-19-23. But on the road, they definitely don't cover spreads. 16-23 against the spread on the road, and they still have a losing record straight up on the road. They're only 18-21. So the Bucks have been abysmal on the road. I think the Magic, I think they bring it here. So I do like the Magic in this game. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one before we move on. I didn't bet the Orlando Magic yet. Just 100% being honest with you guys. Shay says Dame not 100% with that nagging adductor injury, and I I mean, I don't think he's going to be 100%, but I do think him being listed as probable shows that he wants to play in this game. Shay says Orlando not ready though. Dame, Middleton, and Portis will pull it off. I don't think so. Ryan says he liked the revenge spot here. BK says Bucks will probably have to end the will probably have an early lead. Then Doc throws it away by the third quarter. I could definitely see that. Nando likes Orlando to win. Franz Wagner over his points and rebounds. 1 unit on the Magic. I don't care, Ryan says. DMP says Bucks all day here. My favorite play of the day. Full unit, fear the deer. Orlando are done, bro. April, Orlando Magic, and January, Orlando Magic are two different teams. I would argue this, DMP, and I would say Orlando, just like the Bucks, play a lot better at home than they do on the road. So we'll see. I don't think they're gonna finish the game on a 4-game losing, or finish the season on a 4-game losing streak. You can get Orlando minus 4.5 on some books as well. Let's see. Orlando needs to win this game to avoid the play-in. I just said that. If the Bucks lose, they can still get home court advantage. Love here from the Philippines. Appreciate that, man. John says Orlando wins. They get the 5 seed over anyone because they are division winners in the South. Everyone thinks tiebreakers head to head, and that's true. But when it's 2 teams, but when there's 3 teams are tied against the tiebreaker. Did you finish that, John? Again, the number 1 gets the tiebreaker, I think is what he meant. Derek, this could be the easiest way to play it. He says Orlando team total over 109.5. Franz coming back, and they put up 113 in Philly versus a top 5 defense. Bucks aren't stopping the train today. Orlando can struggle to score the basketball, but their offense is a lot better at home than it is on the road. I'm just buying on the Magic not finishing the season, losing 4 straight games. I know that they just lost. To me, I'm not just like, it's not recency bias play for me. Orlando is 28-11 straight up at home this season. 26-13 against the spread, 66.6%. Even with their 3-game losing streak, I think the Orlando Magic are still the most profitable ATS team on the season. Versus on the road, I mean, they still 23-18, but they're 18-23 straight up. So the Magic lose games on the road 43% if you back them on the road straight up this season. At home, 71.8% straight up. So I'm going to take the Orlando Magic in this spot. Like I said, I didn't play it. Tasha says is Giannis in. Giannis is not coming back to the playoffs, Tasha. Franz Wagner playing and they winning. I even sell 1.5. Magic minus the 7 for Nando. John says Magic doesn't score enough points besides Wagner and Bonchero, who's scoring. They'll get scoring today. I do think they'll get scoring today back at home. Who knows where it's coming from? Probably Jalen Suggs, Markelle Fultz, Mo Wagner. Like they got enough guys. And if they win, it'll probably be with their defense as well. So potentially looking at the Bucks who struggle to score on the road, a la what we saw in that game against the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday. They scored like 87 points. So yeah, Bucks on the road. I'm surprised a lot of people like the Bucks on the road. Especially if they can get into the play-in if they can, still get a top 4 seed. So the Bucks have lost back-to-back games on the road. They lost to the Wizards, lost to the Thunder, beat the Hawks, but lost to the Pelicans, lost to the Celtics, lost to the Kings. So the Bucks are 1-5 straight up on the road, and 2-4 in their last 6 games on the road. It's not been a profitable road team. And now you get them without Giannis and the other team in a very meaningful game. It's Orlando for me here, man. It's Orlando. Mark says Orlando defense will show up. DMP says, Chris, don't catch that falling knife with the Magic. I got to today. Like I said, I didn't bet it, but I got to get it. It's a lot of 4.5s out there as well, Justin. Appreciate you for sharing this. All right, let's keep going. A lot of people talking about this game. Cole off the bench might give him 20. I agree with this, Derek. Giannis got to man up and play. Giannis is out. They already said Giannis not going to come back to after the playoffs. Dame could potentially come through, but Jalen Suggs going to be on him. He's going to be on him like white on rice today. I do believe that. Orlando you don't want to go into the playoffs in the 8th seed when you could have finished in the 3rd seed by losing your last 4 games. That's just how I feel about the game. Y'all bet whatever it is that you love. But yeah, it's Orlando for me. And like I said, I haven't bet it yet. Hawks and the Pacers, next game up. We got to keep it pushing. Hawks and the Pacers. So injury report, Capella listed as questionable. Didn't see Anybody else on the injury report? Of course, Trae Young just came back. I think DeJounte Murray is going to be good to go in this one. Indiana don't have any. I didn't see anybody listed on their injury report when I was looking through earlier. Let me just double check it real quick. Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, both game time decision here. Obi Toppin, forgot to mention him. He's listed as questionable for this game on Sunday. I think he rolled his ankle in that game against Cleveland on Friday night. So Capella, Jalen Johnson is listed as out. I don't think he's going. Yeah, he's out with that sprained ankle. So Indiana laying a super big number at home. I don't know if they beat the Atlanta Hawks by this many points, which is one of the reasons why I don't really have much on this game. But the Pacers do need to win, right? We talked about this. Indiana trying to avoid the play-in. They can move up to the 5th seed or fall to the 7th or 8th seed. Currently, Indiana, with that loss on Friday against the Cleveland Cavaliers, are in the 6th seed. So right now, if the playoffs was to start before today, they wouldn't be in the play-in, but they do need to win, just like Philly needs to win. In the scenario here, let me just go back to it. So Indiana needs – All right. So Indiana could get a 5th seed if the Bucks win, they win, and Philly or Brooklyn wins, doesn't matter. Miami or Toronto wins, doesn't matter. So as long as the Bucks win, the Pacers win, then they could potentially get the 5th seed. Indiana, it's a lot of ways for them to get the 6th seed as well. But honestly, it doesn't matter. I think Indiana's going to win the game. Like, I think they'll go out, they'll make sure that they win this game. Atlanta kind of locked in, like they kind of like the Chicago Bulls. This team is going to be in the play-in on I think it's on Tuesday or Wednesday. They're going to play against each other. So yeah, it's a difficult game as far as the spread because Atlanta can be scrappy. Of course, they almost just beat the Timberwolves the other day. Pacers probably got a bad taste in their mouth based on how bad they played defense in their last game. But this is a game, in my opinion, where the Pacers could win and not necessarily cover the big number. Atlanta's going to be scrappy, I think, but I'm not sure how many minutes Quinn Snyder's going to play their starters in a meaningless game here. So I don't have a strong opinion on this game. Just wanted to kind of give you guys some thoughts. Let's see what you guys are saying. DMP says these are monster spreads, man. The books think they slick. Lingowick likes the Pacers minus the 14.5 coming off a loss. It's his best bet. 14 is a lot though, but I understand. Jimmy says Pacers first half. Rick Carlisle said that they have a game 7 mentality. If that's the case, then I like them first quarter and first half here, Jimmy. If that's the case, I didn't read that, but couldn't talk you off at all. Brian says Pacers minus the 14, likes the Pacers, but 14 can't do it, and that's where I'm at too. That's a big spread that I can't touch. Why didn't they do it in Milwaukee when they got had a chance? You got to win on the road in the playoffs, period. So, Marquise, I could get into this a lot, but I do agree. I agree. You do have to win on the road. Orlando's not going to win the championship. So let me just go out and say that. I said this last week. Orlando's a team, in my opinion, that rely heavily on their defense. And if they can, put it like this. I like taking Orlando off a loss. I like taking Orlando off a loss, off double loss, off back-to-back losses a little bit more. And this game is not played on the road, Marquise. This game is played at home, where they are the 3rd best home team. Behind the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks, Orlando Magic do have the 3rd best record at home. So to your point, you do got to win on the road. But they were also on the second leg of a back-to-back, and they didn't. Did they miss somebody in that game? Was that the game that Franz Wagner didn't play, or did he come back for that game? You also had the Bucks really trying to prove something. I think that was the first game without Giannis. And they won the second leg of a back-to-back, but they didn't have to travel. That was a home back-to-back, whereas Orlando had to travel from Houston. So that's the point here. And if you like the Bucks today, bro, take the plus 5. Take the plus 5. Don't let me talk you off. I'm just giving you my thoughts, my brother. Let's see. Slick says Hawks on the money line for me. Ooh, okay. Pacers a little cute. Run it up, and the Hawks are going to try to finish the season strong and trade in DeJounte for some props. And a good one here. Okay. I don't know if I could get there. I don't think the Pacers losing. What else should I say in here? I'll try Pacer. I like Pacers. I'll try it out. DMP says that's a big number, man. Don't let me talk you all. What up, Socks and Sneaks? Rockstar says Pacers plus the minus the points in the first half. T-Man says Trey coming back, so got to fade the Hawks. Yeah, it's not a game that I really like. Eric, I do like this. 240 at 239 is a high number. I would be playing the under if I was playing anything. If the Pacers are going to be locked in, it's probably going to be on the defensive end. Even though in that last game, they let Cleveland get whatever it is that they want. Atlanta's not as talented offensively given their current players. But if they get hot from three, which typically, the Pacers are one of the top teams in the NBA from three, it could be a high-scoring game. But if I had to play it, and I'm not playing it, Eric, but if I had to play it, it would be under. Definitely under 239. Just the way that Atlanta plays. They shoot a ton of threes. Pacers don't give up a ton of threes. Tomorrow says Pacers minus 12.5 for him. Got an early number. What up, Prolific? Rockstar says Pacers over their first quarter team total over. John says Atlanta, nothing to lose or gain today, and that's why I don't like them on the money line. Indy has everything to lose. Goes to the play-in with a loss. Love Indy to come out the gates fast. May not get full game cover if played would play first quarter, first half, and I agree there as well. Oh, okay, got you, Marquise. Got you. Socks and Sneak says Trey and DJ playing and the number is 14. That's because they may not play. I mean, somebody could sit, but I agree. Like, why is this number so big with those guys potentially in? Let's keep it pushing. Next game up. We got how many more games we got to get through? I feel like we still got a lot of games, so we're gonna have to speed up just a tad bit. We won't go through all the meaningless games either. But next game up, we got the Utah Jazz. Yeah, we got time. We got the Utah Jazz and the Golden State Warriors. So this is a game I'll be quick on as well. Injury report-wise, for Utah, John Collins still out. Clarkson is out. Colin Sexton is listed as questionable with an illness. He's probably not going to play either. Of course, no Lauri Markkanen. I think Walker Kessler's still out. For Golden State, Steve Kerr did come out and say that they could rest their starters on Sunday. And all of those guys are listed as questionable. Kuminga, Chris Paul, Draymond, Steph. I didn't see Clay. No, I did see Clay. My fault. Clay also listed as questionable here. So, do you lay 8 points with the Golden State Warriors as home favorites against the Utah Jazz team that is coming off back-to-back wins? The Utah Jazz went into LA and beat the Clippers outright. They also beat the Houston Rockets the night before. No idea, honestly. I think you kind of got to wait. Golden State does have something to play for. The Warriors are chasing the Lakers and the Kings to move up to 8 or 9. But if you listen to Steph, not after the last game when they just lost to the Pelicans, but if you listen to Steph talk after the game before that, when they went to Portland and won, he says that they really they got a breath. If all they want to do is get into the dance. I don't think Golden State cares, if I'm being honest with you guys, about where they play. Like, I think, and honestly, and I said this on Cal's show on Friday, I think Golden State honestly probably wants to play on the road with in the play-in. So if you look at the standings right now, they did themselves a huge disservice if they really wanted to win, if they really wanted the play-in game to be in Golden State. Because with them losing on Friday to the Pelicans and the Kings losing to the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers beat the Memphis Grizzlies and jumped from 10th up to 8th. So if the Lakers somehow beat the Pelicans today, which I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but if the Lakers beat the Pelicans today, the Lakers could potentially be in the 8th spot. Remember, the difference between 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 is that if you're in 9 and 10 and you lose, you're done. You're cooked. But at the rate things are right now, if Golden State stayed in the 10th spot and the Kings won, the Kings are going to win. They're going to beat Portland today. If the Kings, in my opinion, if the Kings beat Portland today, I guess it really just depends on the Lakers and the Suns. But here's my thought. I was telling somebody this yesterday. The winner of the 7 through 10 seed, in my opinion, is the team that gets the Sacramento Kings. That has to be the team that you want to play. You have to want to play the Sacramento Kings, a team that is limping into the play-in tournament. They're 3-7 in their last 10 games. They've lost 3 straight games. The only one that they've won recently came against the Brooklyn Nets, which we were on that a couple like last week sometime. The Kings are not the same team without Malik Monk. And I do think that Golden State will go into Sacramento and beat that team. The Lakers could go into Sacramento and beat that version of that team. And the Phoenix Suns, of course, just did it. And I think that they could also beat the Kings. So I guess I say all that to say that I have no idea what the Warriors want to do. The way it looks is that they are going to finish in the 10th seed, and they're going to have to play on the road no matter what. There is a scenario, though, where – let me go back to my scenarios real quick. There is a scenario where Golden State could let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Okay, so Golden State can get the 8th seed. They can get the 9th seed. In order for Golden State to get the 9th seed, they would need the Lakers to beat the Pelicans, Portland to beat Sacramento. I don't think that's going to happen. And they would need to beat the Utah Jazz. The other scenario is that the Pelicans beat the Lakers, Sacramento beats Portland, and Golden State of course, wins their game as well. Those are the only ways that they could get the 9th seed. Two ways that the Golden State Warriors could get the 9th seed. There are 8 other scenarios. So the likelihood 2 for 8 is not high probability here for Golden State getting 9th seed, which is why Steve Kerr most likely said that he's going to rest. He could potentially rest his starters here. And they could rest their starters and still beat this Utah Jazz team. So yeah, that's what I think about this game. Let's see what you guys are saying here. And of course, Utah has nothing to play for here. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Warriors minus the 2.5 third quarter. Golden State under their 115.5 total. Rockstar says. What else are you guys saying here? They just want a shot. That's what he says, Sox and Sneaks. They just want a shot. Golden State beat writer John Report says, Kerr said we will have restrictions on main player minutes, but Steph contradicts, said he's ready to play 40-plus minutes for the best possible seed. So who the hell knows? And that's how I feel too. I'm not betting the spread. Maybe a look towards Golden State team total to go over. I don't think Utah is going to be able to stop them. Utah on the road has been a really, really terrible team. I know that they're coming off, 2 really good wins, but I would be looking at Golden State team total. But I would let all the starters get rolled out, see what Kerr going to do with the lineup, and then play this game. DMP says Kerr loves resting starters, loves resting players at the wrong time. That's crazy, but the Warriors can win the game against the Salt Lake City Stars, the G League name for this team. And Ryan says maybe first half Jazz. No way I can't bet the Jazz. Last game of the season, no way I can bet the Jazz. All right, let's see. Last comment. Shay says Kenny Lofton Jr. over. It's crazy. If we get lines, he's been hooping. I think he had a career night the other day against the Clippers. John says with Kerr waiting to rest, I think they go balls to the wall again to get the game out of hand, then rest. So that's the way I would look as well. Golden State early. Let's keep pushing on to the next game. We got the Dallas Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this game is only meaningful, of course, for one team, which is the Oklahoma City Thunder. You got an OKC team that is, they got life. This team, of course, beat the brakes off the Milwaukee Bucks on Friday, and the Denver Nuggets did them the most solid favor that you could ask, and that is lose outright to the San Antonio Spurs as a 10.5 point favorite, 10-point favorite on Friday night. And if you could see Mike Malone's face when 0.9 seconds left and they had that turnover because they couldn't throw the ball in bounds, man, he looked like he had just lost his dog, man. So now Oklahoma City, if they win, they do own the tiebreaker. I want to say, let me just double check real quick. They are going to win this game. Dallas, of course, has already listed all of their starters out. No Maxi Kleber, no Exum, no PJ Washington, no Derrick Jones Jr., no Daniel Gafford, no Luka, no Kyrie, of course. And OKC had nobody on injury report. Even Josh Giddey is now not on the injury report. He was listed, I think, as questionable at the end of their last game. So scenarios here, we have, let's just get to them real quick. So OKC, there are 4 scenarios where OKC, 4 out of 8 scenarios where OKC could finish with the number 1 seed. OKC wins, Minnesota wins, Denver wins. So all 3 of the teams to win, which I do think is going to happen. If that does happen, OKC will have the number one spot. If OKC wins, Phoenix beats Memphis. Hold on, let me start over. If OKC wins, Phoenix beats Minnesota, and Denver beats Memphis, which I could also see happening, OKC will be number 1. If OKC wins, Phoenix beats Minnesota, and Memphis somehow beats Denver, OKC wins number one spot as well. And then the last scenario is not going to happen. But if Dallas beats OKC, Phoenix beats Minnesota, and then Memphis beats Denver, this is not going to happen. OKC will also finish number one. In order for the Minnesota Timberwolves to finish number one, they need OKC to win to beat Dallas. They need to win themselves, and they somehow need Memphis to beat Denver. That's not going to happen. I don't think that that's going to happen. And the other two other scenarios for Memphis for Minnesota to win the number one seed, they would need Dallas to beat OKC. I don't think that's going to happen. They would need Minnesota to beat Phoenix, possible, and then you would need Denver to win as well to beat Memphis. So I don't think that's going to happen. Minnesota odds, they need Dallas to win a little too much, in my opinion. They need Dallas or Memphis to win, and I don't think either one of those going to happen. So OKC is going to win this game, I do think, and end up with the number one spot. Denver only has one likelihood chance here, and that would be to win the number one seed. Denver would need Dallas to win. Not going to happen. They would need Phoenix to beat Minnesota, and they would need to beat Memphis, which is why, Coach Mosley's face looked as bad as it looked the other day. Coach Malone's face looked as bad as it looked the other day. So with all that being said, just kind of giving you guys the scenarios. Do I think OKC wants to win this game by 20? I wouldn't bet it. I would not bet this team to win by 20. I think you could look at a Dallas team total to go over. Even without all of their guys in this spot, you get a total that's going to be super low. I don't think OKC is going to be super locked in defensively. I think that they will be locked in offensively, and I would look towards the full game over in this spot. So right now, Dallas team total is 101.5. OKC team total is 121.5. I do think that both of these teams, OKC, we see this team run it up, especially when they're playing at home against these lackluster opponents that are, resting their players. OKC should win this game. I don't know if it's going to be by 20, but they should be able to score as many points as they want. And I do think that the pace of play, because OKC plays so fast, and Dallas is kind of, throwing this game, I do think it's a little bit more of an overlook here. So I would play over. First half team total over, I think, is a really good look as well. The only way that I would be looking in this game. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one before we move on to the next one. Jalen Williams' birthday today. T-Money says, tomorrow says OKC first half. Yeah, it has to be an OKC first half spot. I didn't even write this down. But OKC first half, the line is probably like 11.5, maybe even 12. Let's just double check it and see where you can get the best number at real quick. So OKC minus 11.5 on FanDuel right now. OKC first half minus 11.5 on FanDuel. Or you could just look towards their team total to go over it. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they had 70 points here at the end of the first half. I do like this look a lot. Joe the Gambler says, don't like the game, but I locked in Mavs plus 110 to beat the Clippers in the first round. I like it, Joe. I'm taking Mavs too, just so you guys know. I do think I'm going to be on the Mavs here. I won't get into it right now. We'll save that. But, Joe, I just know that I'm with you. I just haven't bet it yet. Mavs will play the Clippers in the first round. I do like the Mavs. Tomorrow says, side note, Spurs totals win over for next year. That's a fact tomorrow. If you can find a way to bet it, the Spurs are definitely, they won't be slept on as much next year. I agree. Stan, appreciate you for this comment. Lingawick says, I need some SDQL on double-digit home favorites over under trends for the final regular season game, please. Maybe I'll DM this out, Lingawick. What's up, Monotone? Appreciate you for tapping in. DMP says OKC first half. Don't even overthink it. They get them out of the way early. Might look at the first half OKC team total. And that's what I said as well. Bryant agrees first half. And he likes the 19.5. Jabari says, thanks for all I've done this season. Appreciate that. Appreciate this, Ryan. Terrell, I already went to the Pacers game. You just got to rewind the video. Any other sports after basketball season is over, DMP says? WNBA. Can't wait for it. Cannot wait for WNBA. Staying away from baseball, but I will be doing some WNBA shows. What else you guys seeing here? All right. Cool. All right, let's keep moving. We got a lot more games, and I got to get through them pretty quickly here. So Phoenix and Minnesota. I just kind of gave you guys a scenario here. Minnesota could potentially get the number 1 seed if OKC won. Minnesota, of course, they beat the Timberwolves, and they would need Memphis to win, though, to beat Denver. I don't think that's going to happen. There's also a scenario where they need Dallas to win twice, and I don't think Dallas is beating OKC either. So Minnesota's probably going to be locked into this 2 seed here. If you look at their injury report, they got Karl-Anthony Towns listed as questionable. Anthony Edwards also listed as questionable here. I didn't see anybody on the injury report for the Phoenix Suns. Let me just double check it. Phoenix. Yeah, Drew Eubanks and Damian Lee. Those guys have been out for a while. Well, Drew Eubanks not so much, but Damian Lee, yes. So does Minnesota want to win this game? I think that they do. I think Minnesota does want to win this game, but this line has come down because they're going to finish, Minnesota's going to finish top 3 regardless. But here's the kicker, though. Minnesota, all 3 of these teams, Minnesota, OKC, and Denver, if they win the game, they could all win their division, right? We got to remember that as well. That's something that gets overlooked. It's crazy that it comes down to a 3-way tiebreaker between these teams. And, Phoenix, this line has come down. This line opened, I want to say, let me just double check it real quick. I know money's come in on them in this spot. So it opened at 3.5, and money's come in on Phoenix, now down to 2. Do the Phoenix Suns go into Minnesota and win this game? It's a very, very difficult game to handicap. I told you guys a while ago, it's really, really difficult for me to put my money on the Minnesota on this Phoenix Suns team. They're so Jekyll and Hyde, but now you get them as a road dog again against a Minnesota team. I don't like that Karl-Anthony Towns is, potentially could play in this game. I think that they need to kind of work him back in. As much as I don't like betting Phoenix, I think I would be looking towards them in this game. I think when you look at, the way Minnesota can struggle to score the basketball at times, and I think that that's going to be their Achilles heel in the playoffs. They've been the number 1 defensive team throughout majority of the season, but their Achilles heel can sometimes be their lack of ability to be able to score the ball. So you need a Phoenix Suns team that's going to be locked in from the get-go, not any of those, like half-hearted efforts, specifically on the defensive end. But I do feel like this is a game where Phoenix can beat this Minnesota team. I do think that they can. Am I going to bet it? No, I'm absolutely not. I'm going to stay away from it. But I do agree with the movement coming down here. If I would have, if you tell me Karl-Anthony Towns plays, then I do like Phoenix because I do think that they need to get them acclimated a little bit more. Remember, this Minnesota team almost lost to Atlanta, on Friday night. They won that game, I think, by 3 points. So you just need a motivated, locked-in Phoenix Suns team here, and I do think that they could potentially win the game. I didn't bet it, though, but those are my thoughts. It's Phoenix or nothing for me in this game. Let's see what you guys are seeing. Potentially football, DMP. We'll talk about some football. Old lady likes Peyton Pritchard double-double. I think you could take Peyton Pritchard triple-double. Don't let me talk you off. Tomorrow says I got 2 trash line. Timberwolves -3, but they do want to win in a double revenge spot and needing to win for the number 2 seed, right? So there is a way that Minnesota could finish in a 2 seed if OKC wins, they win, and Denver wins. Let's see if they can finish in the number 2 seed if they lose. Yeah, highly unlikely. Minnesota could finish in a 2 seed if OKC wins, they lose, but they would need Memphis to beat Denver. That's probably not going to happen. They could also finish in the number 2 seed if Dallas was to win, and I don't think that's going to happen either. But yeah, 2 scenarios there. And I don't think it really matters. If you're either number 1 because you hold you own the tiebreaker, or you're just not there at all, in my opinion. 2 and 3, I don't think it's a big difference between 2 and 3, in my personal opinion. What up, Keith? He says, good morning, Chris. Treating today like the NFL incentive week. Went with Giddey over his 12.5 points, needing 22 for 1,000 points on the season. Couldn't talk you off. Tomorrow says Suns been teetering on a loss. They damn near choked versus the Clippers without Paul George, Kawhi, and Harden. This is the reason why I didn't bet it tomorrow, right here tomorrow. And he says they luckily got a win against the Kings. They did let the Kings come back in that game. I could be totally wrong. This could be a Timberwolves spot too, but I think it's a Phoenix spot if they really want to win the game. Like if this was Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals, I'm taking the Phoenix Suns in this spot. Let's see. Tasha says what I said. Can't bet the Suns. What else? Can't trust the Suns. Ray says Suns done lost me more money than a little bit, so I'm with you guys there. Brian says can't trust the Suns. Minnesota and the revenge. The last game was a brick fest, and we got some love for the Atlanta Hawks as well. Marquis says seen enough to trust the Wolves. Number one defense, best player, and at home, I'll take that recipe. Don't let me talk you off, my brother. Don't let me talk you off. All right, so next game up, we got the Denver Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies. Only a meaningful game because, Denver Nuggets need to win. Do they win by margin? Potentially. Memphis is kind of punted on the season. They did, play the Lakers really tough the other day. Denver has listed their whole starting lineup as questionable here. KCP, Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, and Jokic all listed as questionable. Memphis, like I said, they punted. Adama, Luke Kennard is out. Maybe some GG Jackson props. I think he just had 31 against the Lakers the other night, or 30 plus against the Lakers, and he's going to continue to play hard. The Memphis Grizzlies still have some guys that's going to play hard. So maybe look towards their props. If Denver is smart, right, and this is the way basketball used to be played, if they are smart, they would take this game very, very serious at the beginning, especially with the way you came out and had your, just weren't super locked in against the San Antonio Spurs in a game where they didn't have any starters outside of Victor Wembanyama. So Denver first quarter, first half, I think should be the play in this game. But you need all the guys rolled in. And I'm not sure what effort you get. They should be completely locked in this spot though. But T Money says this in the chat, and I agree with this. He says Nuggets don't need this game. The likelihood of the Nuggets finishing first now is very, very slim. Like I said, they need to win. They need OKC to win. They need Dallas to win, and that's not going to happen. I don't think Dallas is going to win. They also need Phoenix to win. Dallas, Phoenix, and they would need to win. So they need both of the other teams to lose, and I don't think that that's going to happen. So they could potentially, not care as much about this game, which is why you see everybody listed on the injury report. So not laying the points here. A look towards. I don't even know what to tell you to go with the total either, because I don't know what effort we're going to get from Denver in this spot. So not a game that I'm going to play. I think you got to wait on the injury report here. Let's see what you got. Let's go back to I don't see a lot of comments on this one. Portland and Sacramento. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me a second. All right, cool. Let's get to the next game. So Portland and Sacramento, only a meaningful game for the Sacramento Kings, of course. Of course, they want to get themselves, they probably want to host a play. I'm not sure if they can at this point. But Sacramento, let's go through it real quick. Sacramento chasing the Lakers to move up to the number 8 seed. So right now in the Western Conference, Sacramento has found themselves all the way at 9th, losing, like I said, 7 of their last 10 games they've lost. They've lost 3 games in a row, which is the most games in the Western Conference for any team that's heading into, the play-in or the playoffs. Now you get them laying a super big number against the Portland Trailblazers here. In Portland, they've kind of punted on the season, like even more so now because Scoot is listed as questionable. Jabari Walker is listed as doubtful. You won't have the services of Jeremy Grant, who, he hasn't played a game in such a long time anyway, but they finally listed him as out instead of listing him as doubtful. But you do get Anthony Simons listed as doubtful. He's been listed as out. So does Anthony Simons come back for the last game of the season? I have a hard time believing that. Super meaningless game. I think he probably doesn't play. And I do think Aiden also listed as questionable. If Aiden doesn't play, I think you look towards under in this game. I know it's a super low total, but Portland could really, really struggle to score the basketball here. Sacramento, like I said, does have a chance to get into the 8th spot, which would you don't. And this is the reason why I said Golden State and Sacramento definitely want to win their games today, because you don't necessarily want to find yourself. You need the Lakers to lose, which could potentially happen. Then it comes into the whole tiebreaker thing, which I know Sacramento owns the tiebreaker over the Lakers because they beat them 3 times and maybe even 4 times this season. But you don't want to be in the 9th and 10th spot because the loser of that game is eliminated from the playoffs, from the playoff picture altogether. you want to find yourself in 7 and 8 because at least that gives you 2 games, right? Like you can lose one and then you host the winner of the team that won the 9th and 10th seed. So this game to me feels more like wait and see on Scoot Henderson, wait and see on DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons. If those guys are listed as out, I think Sacramento could smother this Portland team. And I would be, like I said, I'd be looking towards an under. I know Sacramento can score, but they won't necessarily need to score as many points, in my opinion, versus this Portland Trailblazers team. 1, 2, 3, Cancun is what Lingowick says. Kings minus the 19. He took the alt line at plus 110 here. Tomorrow says he laid it with the Kings as well, minus the 16.5. One of the best teams off a home loss, and they need this one. I don't know if they need it by 17, but I can understand the logic here tomorrow. I can definitely understand the logic. Grizzlies played well against the Lakers. They did. Glenn says Denver, Memphis over. I'm not sure what the final injury report is going to look like. I hate giving you guys numbers and then, the injury report gets shaken up, and we're going to see a lot of shakiness. So monitor it as much as you possibly can. I'll be sending out, plays that I do finalize on Twitter and to the members as well. So I'll let you guys know what I lock in, but I want to see the way that the dust kind of settles with the injury report here. So next game up, we got the Lakers and the Pelicans. This is a difficult game too, man. Lakers actually opened as 3-point dogs. They are now 3.5-point dogs to this New Orleans Pelicans team that's been absolutely hooping. The Pelicans lost those couple games at home, and now they've won 4 in a row. Longest active winning streak with the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference. This team has absolutely been killing it. Last Sunday, they go into to Phoenix and win a big game. They go to Golden State, they win a big game. They go into Sacramento, they win a big game. And now for all the marbles, as far as, whether they're going to find themselves outside of the play-in or in the play-in, they are at home in this spot. And I think if you want to fade the Lakers, you typically want to do it on the road. This team is 18-21 on the road, whereas the New Orleans Pelicans, they've been pretty solid in both. 21-18 at home, 28-14 on the road. For whatever reason, like I just told you guys, they have been a better road team. They have the most road wins, even more than the Golden State Warriors and the Lakers. They really, really struggled on the road. It's a difficult game for me because I feel like with all the chips on the table, the Lakers, do you want to stay in the AC or move up? The Lakers can't move up. Let me just say that. So the Lakers, I don't think they own the tiebreaker over the Phoenix Suns. Let me just get to the scenarios real quick. All right, so the Lakers to finish in the 8th seed, they need to win. They need Sacramento to win and Golden State to win, and they finish in the 8th seed. They also could win. Sacramento could win, or Utah could win. So no matter who wins that game, no matter who wins the game between Sacramento and Portland, there's 4 ways for the Lakers to get into the play-in. Now, if the Lakers lose, the only way they could finish in the 8th seed is if the Portland Trailblazers beat Sacramento, not going to happen. And they would need Utah to beat Golden State, also not going to happen. So for the Lakers to finish in the 9th seed, 2 scenarios there as well. They would have to lose. Sacramento or Portland could win, and Utah and Golden State could win as well. I don't think that's going to happen either. But like I said, you want to stay 9 and 10. I don't think really matters. I think the Lakers with their current roster, you got LeBron James, you got a healthy LeBron James, and you got Anthony Davis. With all the chips on the table, I think the Lakers definitely try to win whatever game. But you do want, like I said, you want to give yourself 2 games. So no matter who they end up playing, in my personal opinion, whether it's this, they finish as the 8th seed, you just want to give yourself 2 games. I do think that. But the Pelicans, I also think that they don't want to be in this play-in spot. I think that they want to make sure that they do whatever it is that they need to win to stay out of it. So the Pelicans, just go through it real quick. The Pelicans, let's see. Why don't I see New Orleans? My apologies. I thought I had New Orleans pulled up. I don't see it here in my notes. Let me just go here. So the Pelicans, New Orleans. I told y'all it was a lot today, man. I appreciate y'all bearing with me. New Orleans. All right, so of course they're trying to avoid the play-in. They could fall as low as 7. That's where it is with the Pelicans. They could fall as low as 7. If they fall to 7, they at least get to host the play-in. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they don't want to do that. I say all that to say this: if the Lakers have LeBron James and Anthony Davis listed as probable, to me, that means that they want to win this game. Now, you do get the revenge, of course. The Lakers it's crazy to think that the Lakers beat the Pelicans that bad to get to the in-season tournament. And now the roles are reversed, where the Lakers will have to, go into New Orleans. A little bit of deja vu here for this Lakers team. But I say all that to say this, man. I know that the Pelicans are, playing really, really good basketball. All the chips on the table, though, I'm taking the Lakers plus the points. You got Brandon Ingram potentially coming back, listed as questionable. He could throw off the offense, I think, a lot, especially if he does play. I got to take the points with the Lakers here. I have to take the points with the Lakers here, understanding that the Pelicans have been playing really, really good basketball. I think you get a motivated Lakers team wanting to stay out of, like I said, wanting to move up as much as possible, even though the Pelicans will definitely take this game serious as well. Total sitting at 230.5. I don't have a strong opinion on it, Ryan. I do not have a strong opinion on it. I think I would lean a little bit more towards the over, but I didn't play it. And I'm probably going to stay off the total in this game. Both of these teams can play really good defense. Both offenses are playing a little bit better right now. So I think I would probably stay off the total. Don't want to give you a strong opinion there. Derek says Pels are hot right now. They are. Tasha says, okay, Chris, I'm following your lead. I didn't bet it. Did not bet it. It's way too early in the morning for me to bet these games based on the way that the injury report has looked recently. So I do lean towards the Lakers catching the plus 3.5, though. I think that they can keep this game close. If not, outright win the game. Tomorrow says Homer Laker pick. Crazy, bro. Sick. I think it's supposed to say sicko. No, I'm not. Definitely not that. If you've been watching the show long enough tomorrow, I typically stay off the Laker games or fade them. We just made some money with Golden State the other day, last week, fading the Lakers. So you must not watch the show too often. Which underdogs went out right? Miss Letty says. Which underdogs went out right? Underdog that went out right today. Lakers, I think definitely. Suns, I think they could win in Minnesota. And Clippers as a home favorite, I think, could win outright as well. They 1-point dogs right now to the Houston Rockets. I'm not even gonna go over that game. Bucks could potentially win outright. I don't think it's gonna happen, but those are the 3 teams I think today. Tasha says Clippers. Maurice says Timberwolves game at under. Derek says Pels team total over 116.5. Looks like the play. And tomorrow says joking, bro. Shay says Zion played like trash in that tournament game. He will be looking for his get back, and I would agree there. And Tasha says she did take the Clippers money line. All right, so let me finish this thing up because like I said, I do got to get ready to get up out of here. Here are the meaningless games, right? And I do think there's a play that I really love here between the 3 games. So we got the Wizards at Celtics, nothing to play for either team. Rockets at Clippers, nothing to play for either team. And then the Pistons and the Spurs, nothing to play for either team. And I didn't even look into that Pistons and Spurs game. I will tell you guys, Victor Wembanyama is ruled out. Pistons don't want to win. They've already ruled Fontecchio out. Cade is listed as doubtful, and Jalen Duren is listed as questionable. Collins on the San Antonio Spurs. Not John Collins. What's his name? Zach Collins. Keldon Johnson and Wemby and Malachi Branham all listed out for San Antonio. So I'm not touching that game. But the one I wanted to focus in a little bit on was this Wizards and the Celtics game. So the total in this one opened, and it's already up, right? It opened at 220. I want to say it was 221. Don't let me just double check it real quick to make sure. So opened at 220. I think I started low as 221, and it's up to 226.5. You see 225.5 here. I do like yeah, 226.5 I think is the lowest number I see. Hold on, let me double check real quick. 223.5 over on Caesars right now. Total is dropping. I like this game to go up and over the total. 220. That's the one meaningless game that I do want to play today. Wizards and Celtics to go over. I think is the look here. Just based on Celtics still being able to score the ball even without their starters. Celtics first half, I see Maurice drop that as well. Couldn't talk you off of that. Peyton Pritchard, I said this the other day when they were playing against the Charlotte Hornets, which played at a much slower pace than the Washington Wizards. I think this is an over game. Celtics won't be locked in defensively. Why? Why would you be against the Wizards? And the Wizards, I think, should be able to contribute as well. So the Wizards do have Jordan Poole listed as questionable. Kyle Kuzma is already listed as out. Rashad Holmes is listed as questionable. And who else was it? Tyus Jones, of course, is going to miss this game as well. So I do lean, and I didn't play it yet, but Celtics team total, I think, is 117.5. And the Wizards team total, I think, is like 106.5. So I think both of those teams score in that game. Celtics will be able to knock down threes. Wizards won't be able to stop them from being able to score. So I do lean over in that game, but I didn't bet it quite yet. Like I said, just want to make sure the Wizards aren't going to roll. See what happened with Jordan Poole in that one. So top looks of the day, I wrote these down in my notes section. If I had to play any games, it would be for today. I do like Orlando. You can get a -4. I like Miami team total to go over. Didn't bet that one yet. I also like, I'll be taking the points with the Lakers, plus the 3.5. That Suns game is one that I'm probably going to stay off, but I see the Suns, when you want to fade them, that's when they'll play their best brand of basketball. Suns plus the 2 if I had to play it, but I'm gonna stay off of that game. And I think the whole chat was on OKC first half team total over. I mean, they should absolutely do whatever it is that they want to. The Oklahoma City Thunder today against that Dallas Mavericks backup unit. So that Dallas Mavericks backup unit just lost to the Detroit Pistons without Cade the other day. So OKC in a game that they need to win, I think absolutely, comes to play today and early. I don't think that they play around at all. And let's see what you guys are saying here. Justin says, I forgot I bet Boston over 225 last night. So 2 NBA best bets. I like it, Justin. Like that a lot. AOD says we can't see the top plays. That's because I didn't write them down, AOD. I just wanted to go over. And I'll break this show up so you guys can go through and listen where it is that you want to. Maurice says Chicago plus the 15. The Knicks team total over, I think, is absolutely in play as well. Just want to make sure don't nobody get rolled out there. Best of luck to you guys, man. It's a lot to like today. Just beware of the moving parts, man. A lot of people on the injury report, a lot of questionables listed, which is why I didn't give out any official plays, but a couple looks that I really, really like, and I'll post them on Twitter as well. Best of luck to you guys. Resources are listed here. Hit the like button for me if you can on your way out. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, share the show as well. Link to all my official plays are in the description. Make sure you guys sign up using the $5.99 membership. Bet responsibly. Best of luck to everybody today, man, and I'll catch you guys. Maybe even look towards the play-in game or do an early look tomorrow. But we'll see, man. I hope you guys enjoy your Sunday. Hope you guys cash your bets. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.